It's hard to imagine that some of the most influential fighting dogs in British history completely vanished, leaving behind almost no physical evidence, no verified bloodlines, and no official breed standards. Long before kennel clubs, Britain had an underground world where dogs were bred for performance. From this came two now-extinct strains that helped shape the foundation of modern bull breeds: the Blue Bull Terrier and the Red Smut. The Blue Bull Terrier is most strongly associated with Scotland during the 18th and 19th centuries. This was a period when bull baiting had recently been outlawed and organised dog fighting had taken its place. Dogs were not bred for appearance. They were bred for gameness, strength, pain tolerance, and the refusal to quit. The Blue Bull was not a breed in the modern standardized sense. It was a fighting strain. There was no written blueprint. If a dog performed well, it was bred. If it did not, it was left behind. Its origins remain unclear. Travelling communities around Scotland were known to keep Blue Bull Terriers and claimed they came from the Galloway coast. A more detailed explanation suggests a British Army officer stationed near Glasgow owned a blue-coated Irish Terrier. When he was reposted elsewhere, the story goes that he left her with friends, who bred her to a white Bull and Terrier, a type that is also now extinct, creating the foundation of the Blue Bull strain. Another story traces the lineage back to a bitch named Blue Bull, near Newcastle. According to this account, a visiting Scotsman purchased several of her pups and returned to Scotland, establishing the line as Scottish instead. Each version differs in detail, but they all point to the same conclusion. The Blue Bull emerged from Bulldog and Terrier crosses, with influence from similar fighting dogs, imported from England and Ireland. It rose in popularity through the mid-1800s, particularly within Scottish fighting communities, and then gradually declined. By the early 1900s, the strain had disappeared entirely. Physical descriptions of the Blue Bull are consistent given the limited records. It stood between 16 and 20 inches at the shoulder and weighed approximately 35 to 50 pounds, approximately 16 to 23 kilograms. That made it heavier than many early terriers, but lighter and more agile than the old-style bulldogs of the era. Perfect for the athletic and game qualities that they required. It was muscular without being exaggerated like modern breeds. The body was balanced, with a deep chest, strong legs, and powerful hindquarters. The head was broad but functional, with a well-developed jaw. The coat was short and smooth. Unlike some modern show-bred bull breeds, the Blue Bull was not built to impress judges. It was built to endure. Accounts suggest it combined explosive strength with stamina, capable of sustained physical effort rather than just short bursts of power. During the same time that the Blue Bull existed, there was another now extinct Bull and Terrier strain, the Red Smut. While less widely discussed as a game fighting dog, the Red Smut was a recognised type in parts of Scotland and northern England during the same period. The Red Smut was typically red or fawn in colour, often with darker shading around the muzzle, the smut that inspired the name. Structurally, it shared the same Bulldog and Terrier foundation as the Blue Bull, but there were subtle and important differences. The Red Smut was generally slightly smaller than the Blue Bull. While exact measurements vary, it often fell toward the lower end of the 35 to 50 pound range and could be marginally shorter in height. It retained muscularity, but was often described as noticeably lighter in frame. More notably, the Red Smut was said to possess a slightly less intense drive. It was still a capable fighting dog. This was not a soft animal, but it did not carry the same reputation for relentless gameness that defined the Blue Bull. Where the Blue Bull was seen as highly driven and intensely dog-aggressive, the Red Smut was often regarded as somewhat more moderate, suited for companionship more. Temperament differences are particularly interesting. The Blue Bull was bred as a specialist, selected for extreme determination in combat, high pain tolerance, and strong dog aggression. It was a dog built specifically for the pit. The Red Smut, while certainly part of the fighting world, developed a reputation for being a more versatile type. It was alert, territorial, and known as an excellent watchdog. In real life, if the Blue Paul was an athlete bred for maximum performance, the Red Smut was the smaller, less driven version that could work effectively in watchdog and companion roles. Both strains reflected the priorities of their era, but the difference in emphasis, extreme gameness versus moderated versatility, likely influenced how they were used and valued. When compared to the modern Staffordshire Bull Terrier, the distinctions become clearer. Today's English Staffordshire Bull Terrier stands 14 to 16 inches tall and weighs between 24 and 38 pounds. It is compact, broad-headed, and densely muscled. Modern Staffords are powerful for their size, but shorter and more stocky than historical descriptions of the Blue Paul. The Blue Paul appears to have been slightly taller, heavier on average, and longer in the leg, more rangy and built for sustained effort. The Red Smut likely fell closer to modern Stafford size, but retained a leaner, more functional outline and less exaggerated head structure. The development of the Staffordshire Bull Terrier in the English Midlands involved crosses between old bulldogs and various terriers, producing agile, muscular dogs suited for blood sports. Britain's fighting dog culture was not isolated by region, but moved across the British Isles. Strains were traded, tested, and blended, many times without sufficient recording of evidence. It's certainly not true that either the Blue Paul or the Red Smut was a single direct ancestor of the modern Staffordshire Bull Terrier. However, it is highly plausible that both contributed to the wider Bull and Terrier gene pool from which the breed eventually stabilized. When the Staffordshire Bull Terrier was officially recognized in 1935, breeders had already started shifting focus towards stable temperaments and companion qualities rather than fighting performance. This meant breeding from stock which has less drive and size, which takes it away from the fighting breeds of the time. The blue coat seen in some modern Staffords is often romantically linked to the Blue Paul. While that connection is possible, the dilution gene responsible for blue coloring exists in multiple breeds and cannot be definitively traced to one extinct strain. There is some anecdotal evidence to support this and would possibly explain why many blue Staffordshire Bull Terriers today are in fact slightly larger than the breed standard. Again, this is anecdotal with no concrete evidence, but there is likely some truth grounded here. Likewise, the rich red coloring common in Staffords today could reflect influence from Red Bull and Terrier types, such as the Red Smut. Compared to the American Pit Bull Terrier and the American Staffordshire Terrier, both extinct strains would likely appear less exaggerated than many modern show-line American Staffordshire Terriers, and closer in athleticism to working-line pit bulls. They were not giant dogs. They were compact, efficient athletes, transitional forms between the heavy old bulldog and the refined bull breeds that followed. Their disappearance mirrors broader changes in British society. The Cruelty to Animals Act of 1835 banned bull baiting and similar blood sports, though dog fighting continued illegally for decades. As public attitudes shifted and kennel clubs formalized breeds, performance strains that lacked official standards gradually faded. Without organized preservation, the Blue Paul and the Red Smut were either absorbed into emerging bull breeds or allowed to disappear entirely. By the early 20th century, their names had largely vanished from use. No verified photographs exist, only illustrations, scattered references, and educated speculation remain. Their extinction is a reminder that breeds are shaped by human need. Some adapt and evolve into stable, affectionate companions like the modern Staffordshire Bull Terrier, or even pit bulls outside of the UK who may have been closer in temperament. Others, built for a purpose that society leaves behind, disappear with the times they were brought in at. But even when the names are lost, the influence may remain, in structure, in colour, and in the enduring strength and character of the bull breeds we know today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe and suggest any ideas for future videos on your favorite dogs. See you soon!